Hey friend, it is Brandon Gustafson with Assisted Living Investing. Excited to have you here with me on the channel today. This is the third time I'm going live because I've been having issues with the channel today, but wanted to get on here and give you just kind of an overview of what I wanted to talk to you about. Had a conversation recently, and we're going to be talking a little bit about how to become a landlord for a residential assisted living facility. I just wanted to share with you, I do have a free lease template that you can use. We're going to link that down below here in the description. So if you want to get that, go ahead and click on the link and it will take you over to get access to that and kind of help you along your journey. Now let's get into what we wanted to talk about today. Again, we're talking about how to become a landlord of a residential assisted living facility. And I'm going to see, this is a different, okay, cool. Um, so my background, if you don't know me and don't know kind of what my experience is or anything like that, I own and operate two assisted living facilities. I do that out of state. I live in Utah. One of the facilities is in Colorado and one of them is in Idaho, and have been operating those since 2020. And I own both the real estate and I operate the business. So I have a little bit of experience with those facilities, plus some other experience that I have with businesses that I've run that kind of give me a little bit of experience as far as being a landlord and helping people along that process. So kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what that looks like and why I have the experience there. Now, if you are watching this live, I'd love if you could comment down below, landlord or operator, depending on where you're at. Are you a landlord? Comment landlord. Or if you are an operator, comment operator. I'd love to hear, who are you and what are you watching for? And let's see if we can kind of help people out along their investment journey, which is really what I'm trying to do here with everything that we have going on here at the channel. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about this recent conversation that I had. So in the Facebook group, Assisted Living Investing, if you're not a member, please get in there and join. I'd love to chat with you and help you through your investment journey there. But I had a person reach out. Her name is Marlene, and she and I had a conversation yesterday. It was great. I want to thank Marlene for reaching out. We had an excellent conversation. So she's a member of the Facebook group, and she is a landlord, and she is looking. She actually had somebody approach her to become um, to run a facility, to run a care home, a 3-bed care home out of her house. And she's new to it, and she had a few questions about, how does this work? And she had reached out specifically about the lease agreement and what that looks like. And again, if you just get over to the website, we'll have that link down below, but you can get that free lease template and kind of help you along your process. But she wanted to know what that would look like and how to go through that. And as a landlord, what are some things that she should be aware of and what she should know? And there were a few things that I thought were really insightful, and I wanted to come in and do a live for you to kind of help you through that process and help you understand exactly what it is that you might be wanting to look for as you get into this. And so I have a few pieces of advice to help you through the process. Number one, you need to talk to an attorney. I'm not an attorney. You need to go and find one, and one that has some experience in assisted living. I think is going to benefit you even more. And so what that would look like. I work with KKOS lawyers, KKOS, and they're great. I love them. The lease template that I have available for you came from them. Great conversation with them. I love working with them. Another one that I'm aware of online is Clint Coons, CLINT. Coons is COONS, and you can find him on YouTube. He has some incredible videos about assisted living. So he's worked in the space before. He kind of knows what he's talking about. So those are two attorney offices that I would suggest that you maybe reach out to if you can't find one local to you, and just have a conversation and say, hey, I'm a landlord. I'm looking to set up a lease for my house and have somebody operate a care home or a residential assisted living facility inside of it, and I need some help setting up the lease. Can you give me some guidance? And they're going to be able to help you out through that process. Now, as far as the length of the lease, this was another conversation that Marlene and I had that I thought was really interesting. So she is going to set hers up with a 5-year lease, which I think is great. And we talked a little bit about how a 1-year lease might actually be a little bit too short of a period of time when you're setting up a lease for somebody running an assisted living facility. And for you as a landlord, that could give you some extra risk because you might get somebody in there and they operate it for a year and they might start to be getting to the point where they're profitable, but they're not quite there yet. And maybe they're having questions about how much work it's taking to run that facility. And they're just kind of iffy and they don't know if that's what they want to do, which could be the case. Now, if you sign a 1-year lease, they may, decide, I want to back out and I don't want to do it. And so you would risk losing your tenants and then you have to start all over if you're a landlord. Whereas if you do a longer lease, 3, 5, 10 years, you've got that person, that operator in your facility for a longer period of time. They're probably going to be a little bit more apt to really dig in and make sure that everything is successful. And they're running that business in a way that's going to bring more people in and help them through the process. So I really like what she's doing with that 5-year lease. I think it's a great idea. And for the operator, I think it gives you a lot of confidence as well because you know that you're going to be able to stay in that facility for a while and inside of that house for a while and operate your business. You don't have to worry about the lease coming to an end. The other question that I see a lot from operators is they're concerned about doing this with a landlord, and the landlord seeing how profitable it can be, and then the landlord wanting to kind of take over the business and run it and kicking them out of the house. I don't think that that's something that you necessarily need to be worried about. And the reason why is, as an operator, you know how hard it is to run the business. It's not easy. There's a lot that goes into it, and you have people's lives relying on you. And so you need to kind of just be articulate that to them. And while it is a business and it can be profitable, it's hard work. It takes a lot to go in and do this. And so that's something that you need to just kind of be aware of as you go through the process. So you want to articulate that, but a longer length of lease is great. The next one is going to be how much to charge. And as I was talking with Marlene, something that came up is she's going to charge more than she would for just a single family to live in the house. And I think that's totally appropriate. She's accepting a little bit extra risk by having a business in her house and having multiple people and just kind of the everything that goes with running an assisted living facility. Now they're not tenants that are going to be tearing up walls or anything like that. But there's potential for changeover, and you might have families coming to visit and things like that. So it's just something you want to make sure that you're aware of. And so charging a little bit more of a premium, plus it's a business, it should be generating sufficient income for them to cover things, and it's going to benefit you to be able to do that. And as an operator, I think you should expect to pay a little bit more because that landlord is assuming some of the risk and letting you run the business out of the facility. And I'm not saying you should 2x or even 3x what you would expect, what you would charge somebody for a normal single family to come in and stay at your house. But I am saying you could probably bump it up a little bit, 50 to 60% more than what you would charge somebody. I think that's appropriate. It's something that you definitely want to negotiate and things like that. But I think both parties should expect that there's a little bit higher of a rate that you're charging and a little bit higher of a rate that you're paying as a landlord or an operator, depending on where you land in the spectrum there. Now, a couple other questions that I think you need to be aware of as a landlord that you want to be getting out and talking and asking your potential operator about are, number one, insurance. So insurance is going to be key, something that all operators need to have. And as a landlord, what I would expect my tenant to have is some kind of a renter's insurance to cover the property, and then a liability insurance. And what you definitely want to do there is make sure that you are listed as an insured entity on that insurance. So I would definitely talk to an attorney here and to an insurance broker and make sure you know what type of coverage needs to be in place and how much coverage you need to have in place so you can feel comfortable about where you're at in that process. I think like $100,000 is going to be too small. $1 million policy, probably sufficient. But it's something that you would want to have conversations with attorneys and insurance brokers to make sure you're on the right page. It's also something that as a landlord you could put into your lease agreement that basically states, any of the liability that happens to a resident at the facility is passed on to the operator through their insurance, and they have to have appropriate insurance that has these thresholds on it. And you could build that into the lease so that they are putting it in there. Again, talk to an attorney, talk to an insurance broker, make sure you have what you need there, but you can put those stipulations in there. It's going to give you some added protection and help you out through the process there. Next one is zoning. And I put zoning on here for a big reason, and that is for you as the landlord. If you have somebody that wants to operate and they come to you and they say, hey, I'd love to turn your house into a care home. And you're like, okay, well, what does that look like? Is it zoned properly? Like, are there any renovations? And they say, I don't know, we'll figure it out. That for me is a red flag. What you want to hear when an operator comes to you is they say, yeah, I was actually just talking to the city zoning and planning guy, and he said that you are actually zoned perfectly for it. It's not going to be a big deal. Or I talked to them and they said we need to rezone it, but the process is this simple application, and we'll be able to do it. Or if they come to you and they say, yeah, I actually was talking to the fire marshal, and what we're going to have to do is make a few renovations here on the restroom to get it ADA compliant. But other than that, I think we're good. Those types of things are what you as a landlord want to hear. You want somebody to come to you and say, this is what it's going to look like. This is what needs to happen. I've had these conversations already, and it's going to give you that added comfort that you've got a good tenant that's going to be there running a sufficient, a successful business as you go through the process. And the next one is a business plan. And with that business plan, you're going to be looking at somebody that, as a landlord, I would ask them for a business plan. How are they going to operate the facility? What's it going to look like? What are their long-term goals? And having that written out is going to be beneficial to you. And for those of you who are operators, I have, and we'll put this in a link down below in the description, a business planning guide. It's going to kind of guide you through the process of how to build a successful business plan, underwrite your facility, make sure you're confident in it. I made it super affordable. Get down to the link there and you can access it. It's going to help you and walk you through the process of building that out so you could hand that over to a landlord, or you could hand it to your lender or to other investors and things like that. It's a super useful tool, going to help you out through your process for sure, and help you reach your investment goals. Now, I want to talk to those of you who are operators and what it's going to look like for you as an operator and what you should expect and what you need to bring to the table here. And the first thing you need to bring to the table is a plan. I was just talking about the business planning guide. You need to have something that you can give to them and say, hey, this is my plan for the facility. I already own one. I'm looking to expand to 3. You're number 2. Or you're the first one, but I really want to get 5. And kind of explain what it is that you want to do, how you're going to run that facility, how you're doing your policies and procedures, how you're building out all of that stuff. Come to the table with the plan, present it to them, and the more that you have that information intact and you're giving it to them, the more likely a landlord's going to be like, this is actually a really good idea for me. I think I'm going to look into it a little bit more, and I think I might work with this person because they seem to know what they're doing. It's going to help you out through the process there. So it really is going to benefit you, and something I highly suggest that you get into. Next is to do your homework before you start engaging a landlord. And I was talking about city zoning and planning and fire marshals, even the state health department. You want to have those conversations before you go and talk to a landlord, and you want to know what it's going to look like. And if the fire marshal says, yeah, you're doing a care home, which is great from an occupancy standpoint, I think you're going to be fine, but you are going to have to make sure that the bathrooms have grab bars in them, and you're going to have to make sure that the sink is wheelchair accessible, or whatever it is. Figure out what those things are so that when you come to the landlord and you're saying, hey, I want to do this, you can answer the questions. These are the types of renovations that I think might need to go into your house, unless you already have it, which would be great. But if not, this is what I think we're going to have to do to the house to get it to where it needs to be. And that's going to benefit you a ton as an operator because you're going to know what those expenses are. And you're coming, again, to the landlord with a plan on what that's going to look like and how it's going to work. So those are two just key things. And the other thing I would say is you should probably be offering to pay for some of those improvements. If you've got to make a renovation to a restroom, you should probably be offering to do that. It's going to add value to the landlord. It's going to make them more likely to want to work with you. And for you as a landlord, what you need to know about this type of a facility is the renovations that we're making are not destroying the value of your home in any way. If anything, they're going to make it better. Because we want, as operators, we want to have an atmosphere for our residents that is comfortable and that they love and it feels like home. And so we're making renovations that are going to be aligned with that. And so that's something you want to keep in mind as you go through this process and you're looking at operators. They are not going to be your typical tenant that's going to put holes in the walls or anything like that. They're going to keep a very nice home because they want this to be cozy for the people that they are trying to bring into the home to serve through the care home or the assisted living facility. So it's something you want to do, but that's something as an operator you probably want to build into your pro forma that you need to do X amount of money in renovations to the house. And in the case with Marlene, she was actually really excited because that's what the operators came to her with, saying, "I need to update this bathroom," and she in her mind was thinking, I've got to do the bathrooms anyways, so why would I not work with these people? They're going to give me more money, they're going to renovate my house, and they're going to be low, just like residents that aren't going to be rough on the house and doing things. So it kind of makes a lot of sense for her. And so the operators, I don't know them that talked to Marlene, but they seem to have been doing everything that they should be doing. Everything I'm suggesting in this video, they are doing it right. And that's great. Something that people should be aware of and take note of. Now, if you're here live, I would love it if you could like the video and subscribe and hit the bell notification because it's going to notify you when we go live. I'm trying a few different softwares. I think I found one that works really well. It's just going to have this kind of thing up in the corner, but that's okay for right now while we're a small channel, and then we'll change that. But I think this is going to work. Hopefully, this is the third time today, so I'm fingers crossed, hoping that this is a good stream. But if you could like the button, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified, and then you can interact with me here on the channel as we go through the process. And I want to just make sure I don't have any comments here. Looks like we don't have anybody right now, but that's okay. If you could get on and ask me the questions that you have as you go through the process, I'd love to kind of help you and educate you and answer any questions that you have as we go through this. Kind of look at this as a live training, and you can get in here and ask me questions as we go along. So I want to thank you here for being with me on the channel today. Just a reminder that you can get over to the website assistedlivinginvesting.net/lease agreement, lease-agreement. We'll have that link down below in the description for you to get in and get access to that lease agreement. It's going to help you out through the process, both as a landlord, because you'll have something as a starting point, but also as an operator. I think it's going to help you out quite a bit because it's going to let you see what that lease is going to look like and what you could expect to see and what you could expect to kind of interact with as you're getting your lease in place. And if you're an owner operator and you own you own that real estate, this lease is going to be great. It's a very simple, basic lease. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to do that as well. So again, I want to thank you for being here with me. Does residential assisted living sound interesting to you, but you just don't know where to get started? At assistedlivinginvesting.net, we are here to help you through the process, start to finish. I want to thank you for being here. Get down and get that free lease agreement down below. And thanks for watching, and have a great day.